The day before yesterday, we already explained how to understand concept and reality. Today I will continue the topic, the concept and reality with the Abhidhamma perspectives. Because nowadays the Abhidhamma is become popular subjects. Many people want to learn Abhidhamma. Many people also at the same time concerned whether Abhidhamma is a really difficult subject or not. It depends on how do you approach or do you understand. We can say Abhidhamma is not very difficult, as well as Abhidhamma is difficult subjects. Someone might say. Anyhow, today I will try to explain the concept and reality with the Abhidhamma perspectives. The Buddha's teaching, everyone knows as three Pitaka or three baskets. The first one is Vinaya Pitaka, the teaching of rule and regulation. Second one is Sudanda Pitaka, which is dealing with the mostly conceptual teaching or ideas. And the lastly, Abhidhamma Pitaka, some explain or translate philosophical doctrine, or we can say the basket of Abhidhamma, which is directly relating to ultimate reality. So concept and ultimate reality with the Abhidhamma perspective, we need to understand it first of all. One can extract or one can obtain the ultimate realities from understanding conventional truths. So whoever wants to know the ultimate reality, then also the one should know the concept or conceptual idea. Otherwise, you may confuse between this concept and reality. For example, in daily life, we used to say man or woman or dog and cats. How do we understand this daily language? Whatever people they say or whenever we hear the word man or woman, that's a concept or reality. What do you think? This is a concept or reality? That's a concept. But concept we accept as a conventional truth. We can't say there's a wrong. Otherwise you are confused, because of our daily language we are using or expressing what we feel, what we understand, or men or women. And then one can realize Nama Rupa, the mind and body, or physical phenomena or mental phenomena, from the so-called or men or women. So Nama Rupa, there's a term for ultimate reality, but it's not ultimate reality yet. But we have begun to use Nama Rupa for ultimate reality. Actually, the name for ultimate reality, name itself is not ultimate reality yet. For example, five aggregates. We can understand five aggregate, the so-called men or women. The so-called men or women consists of five aggregates. So such as aggregates of matter or form, aggregates of feeling, the aggregates of perception, the aggregates of mental formation, and the aggregates of consciousness. And then again, five aggregate itself is a name for concept, not ultimate reality yet. Those who practice meditation try to focus whatever phenomena arise within. They look at within. That means within the five aggregates. Eventually, they can realize it. They can realize the aggregates of perception. The characters of perception means something. Remember, whatever we experience in the past. So that we can understand the characters of perception, that is to remember. Whenever we focus in within body, our body, and then you can feel something. That the vedana or feeling, it says a name, but experience of feeling is ultimate reality. So the first foundation, as a foundation, the concept is trying to understand the Dhamma clearer and clearer. So for this reason, even you read or you study Dhammapiya, that we call teachings or the baskets of teachings or baskets of doctrines, and then there also we can see the five aggregates of 4 elements or 12 ayatana. There is a 12 base senses and the 18 dhatu or elements. But the Dhammapiya is still using that kinds of name. There is a conceptual concept itself. But meditator can realize very much based on concept. Eventually they realize the real essence or real significance of five aggregates. That is not mere name for ultimate reality, but they realize it through their own experience, through the awareness or mindfulness meditation. For this reason, whenever we see someone, they say man or woman, we know that that person is using concept or conventional truth. We can say directly, oh, you are saying the man or woman, you are wrong. There is actually, there's no such man or woman in this life. Then, because you are fighting for the concept and reality, then the other person is, of course, the other person's will be meditator. Whatever you say, he or she might immediately recognize, okay, because you are referring to ultimate reality. That's why what I means a man or woman does not really exist, do not exist as a man or woman, but exists as a physical phenomena or mental phenomena. It is true. But if the other person never ever learned the Dhamma, never ever heard the Dhamma, of course, is man or woman, if you reject that kinds of conventional language or conventional truths, then that will be problem among this or between these two persons. That's why even though we learn the Dhamma, we know that it's an unavoidable situation to use conceptual language, conceptual idea. Even the Buddha used men or women or monks, or even the Buddha say, I'm, you, and so on. Whenever the Buddha deliver the doctrines or teachings in Dhammapiya. So now you can draw the conclusion line. There is a concept, is a fundamental aspect to understand ultimate realities. So without knowing, without understanding concept, it's very difficult to understand ultimate reality as well. It will be very difficult without understanding name for ultimate reality. It's very difficult to realize the true essence or true functions of ultimate reality. For this reason, whenever we approach to learn the Buddha's doctrines or Buddha's teaching, we need to go step by step. For this reason, I will draw the conclusion line. The line. There's a concept is a fundamental aspect to understand ultimate reality. So how we can understand the ultimate reality from the Abhidhamma perspective, but one can wisely investigate these things or these ultimate realities with the analytical tools of Abhidhamma. So that's why the Abhidhamma is a very important tool for to discover or investigate what is ultimate reality, what is a concept. This Abhidhamma is a tool. Itself is not, even though Abhidhamma terminology are termed for ultimate reality, but that is considered to be tool to analyze the ultimate realities. According to Abhidhamma, There are 4 groups of ultimate realities. Everyone knows what are they. Number 1 is a Citta, consciousness. Number 2, Cittasika, mental factors. Number 3, Rupa, matter. And number 4, Nibbana, absolute peace. But this is the guideline to learn or to understand the ultimate reality. Of course, someone might ask, is it the ultimate reality is more than that or lesser than that, and so on. There's many questions. So whenever we want to learn Abhidhamma, but your knowledge simply accept, okay, according to Abhidhamma, these are ultimate realities, okay? Otherwise, whenever we attended the Western philosophy, Western these universities, whenever they think the truth should be one, only one, should not be 3 or should not be 2, and so on. There are a lot of debate, it never end. So according to Buddha's teaching, the how to call 4 noble truths. How many truths? Already 4. The Buddha already recognized as a 4 noble truths. Then from perspective of Abhidhamma, the Buddha is ultimate reality, is already 4. But please don't think what is the significance 4 number, otherwise you are confused again. When we try to make the Buddha's teaching simple, please don't make yourself confused, okay? 4 is a 4, because we are learning the process. Later on, you may analyze yourself this 4, whether it's acceptable, these things are as our ultimate truths or not. Okay, the first one is a Citta, consciousness of mind. Then we already explained the ultimate realities are Dhamma, or things which bear their own intrinsic nature. That means cannot go further detail, further examination or discovery. Itself is already characteristic, so that we cannot go beyond that level. But final irreducible position is the Buddha mentioned the Citta, or consciousness. Then, according to commentators, trying to explain Citta, there is a character. The characteristic of Citta is to know or cognize on an object. So whenever we learn the 4 ultimate truths, ultimate realities, the Abhidhamma, according to Abhidhamma, the first ultimate reality is presumed as Citta, or consciousness. See, in our aggregates, there is one group we call Vijnana, the aggregates of consciousness. The Buddha already format them, and then that function, or that is that Citta has a character, that is to know or to cognize in the objects. That is a function, that is a character. So whenever we learn the ultimate realities, okay, suppose meditation teacher or Abhidhamma lecturer will explain, okay, there are 4 ultimate realities according to this known as a Brahmata Dhamma. Then the first one is Citta, or consciousness of mind, or awareness. Then we need to understand that Citta, okay, Pali terms, consciousness, the English term, or Burmese or called say in the also terminology. You need to understand that these are named for ultimate reality, not really it's the ultimate reality yet. Meditators, or those who are really curious to understand this nature of mind or nature of consciousness, you need to investigate within yourself. There's Abhidhamma, so we already provide. Abhidhamma is a tool for investigating that kinds of the reality is truly exists or not. That's why if you use the words, the ultimate realities are characterized not only from ontological aspect as the ultimate existence, but also from the epistemological aspect as a ultimate object's right knowledge. So the ontological aspect, then epistemological aspect, because they are truly exist. Whether these kinds of awareness, that is a characteristic of awareness to know the objects, that kinds of characteristic truly exists or not, you need to investigate. Otherwise you are just learning or mere learning the language or concept for ultimate reality. For this reason, meditation is the most powerful technique to discover that kinds of aspect truly exists or not. Otherwise, I know, of course, there's something to know the objects. But again, I know means not really you are discovered yet, because you don't know anything, but actually Citta know the objects. Because you are knowing is still I involved. According to Western philosophy, I think, therefore I am. Because we think, that's why I exist. But according to Buddhist philosophy, there's no such I who really think. Who think? Who know? Citta know. Who think? Cittasika will think. There is a Vitakka is a something, mental factor is it has own function to think. So of course this is a common words according to Western philosophy. I think, therefore I am. Because I think, therefore I is a truly exists. From Buddhist perspective, there's no such I who really think. That's why I do not exist. So according to Buddhist Abhidhamma perspective, so commentators try to define Citta in the three ways. First, as an agent, that is to know the objects. Secondly, as an instrument, that is to know objects accompanying mental factors that we call Citta Cittasika combination. So there is an instrument. The last one is as an activity, Citta itself, that means Citta itself nothing rather than the process of cognizing or process of knowing the objects. So we emphasize again and again because there's no such I who really know. There's no such I who really think. But Citta, there's a Citta, the consciousness is to know the objects. From Buddhist perspective, based on this fact, based on this teachings or doctrine, Buddhist thinkers want to say there's no self that performs the act of cognition, but Citta or consciousness. Because there's a challenging, because in the worldly concept, whenever we think, I think. Whenever we learn the Abhidhamma perspective, there's no such I who really think, who is able to think. Only Citta or consciousness to know the objects. So according to Abhidhamma perspective, the commentators or Buddhas or Buddhist thinkers emphasize again and again, no such I, no such eternal I who really think, or that only consciousness or Citta is to know the objects. So whether this view, whether this aspects is it true or not, there's only one way to know, one way to test yourself. You need to practice meditation. Even though you never ever heard the Abhidhamma, this concept, this name for ultimate reality, you may realize yourself. For this reason, whenever we practice meditation teacher used to say this is we call insight knowledge, we call intuitive wisdom. When we know that reality, that significance of consciousness which has function or which is characteristics to know the objects, that is a Citta. But Citta is only we use temporary term for that ultimate reality. But if you know that something is to know the objects. Either we can say Citta or consciousness or awareness or mind, but term is not really suitable, not really how to call specific term for this. But maybe terminology may change, but the real experience are there. So that's why the meditation is very powerful. Abhidhamma is a tool for investigating what is the ultimate reality. The meditation is technique to discover what this theory say is truly exists or not, truly acceptable or not. So that's when if you really understand these kinds of nature, the Abhidhamma thinkers or Buddhist thinkers used to say there's no such self that is perform the acts of cognition or knowing, but Citta or consciousness. Thus Citta, because of this phrase, want to define thus Citta is nothing rather than acts of cognizing or knowing. That means this consciousness or knowing act or cognizing acts necessarily impermanence. Because of just now why we again the soul idea or soul concept. If people accept soul or self, that is eternal, nothing can perish, everlasting. So since you learn the Abhidhamma knowledge, there is not self is a knowing, but Citta is a knowing the object. This Citta is subject to the nature of impermanence. Because those who accept the soul is eternal, nothing can perish, everlasting, exists forever. The Citta is no such kinds of things, but is to know its well function, it's perform its function, it is to know, but it itself subject to impermanence nature. That's why the marked by or characterized by rise and fall. So whatever the knowing process means much related to rise and fall. So totally opposite to the soul or self, everlasting aspect. That's the reason why concept or soul theory. Because whenever you learn the people who believe there is a soul really exists, well, okay, that suppose there is a exist, but they define that kinds of soul is eternal, everlasting, exists forever. So from the perspective of Abhidhamma aspect, there's no such things, either soul or man or woman, doesn't matter. Any aspect which is truly lasts forever, exists forever, or everlasting, there's no exception. That's why every phenomena, physical phenomena, mental phenomena, under certain circumstances, their law, eternal law is everything arises, sustain forever, for a while, then cease eventually. There's knowing or understanding the Citta or consciousness as a conceptual truth. There is a naming for consciousness or ultimate reality or ultimate truths. There's no such self which lasts forever or everlasting. That's a conclusion. That's why the Abhidhamma is really wonderful tool to investigate whether such things are theoretically or practically acceptable or not. Of course, vipassana meditation is you need to proceed further. That will be your own. Just now is you are learning from the Abhidhamma. That is only for your knowledge, for your understanding differences between concept and reality. But please remember, you haven't really experienced by your own. That is your own knowledge, intuitive knowledge. So according to Abhidhamma, the first categories for ultimate realities we know already. What is Citta, consciousness? So we don't need to. I don't have much time to explain because of Citta is so many categories. It doesn't matter. But so long as you know that what is a Citta. Citta is a consciousness, literally definition, interpretation, but the character is to know the objects. That is a citta. Then second categories of ultimate reality, that is we call cittasika, mental factors or mental formation. Please remember, whenever you learn these ultimate realities, to try to differentiate or try to understand concept and reality clearly, precisely. So see now, second category is cittasika, mental factors. What is the function or what is the character of the cittasika? Sometimes the functions and character, if you approach specifically, but slight difference. For example, according to literature, the characters of citta, that's to know the objects. The functions of citta is the forerunner of mental factors. I don't want to explain so much in detail, otherwise you are confused. That's why I will just say simply, the cittasika assists cittas by performing more specific tasks. That means citta and cittasika is, according to Abhidhamma, it's very difficult to understand if the Buddha didn't explain this Abhidhamma aspect. But of course we are lucky to understand clearly, very much based on the Buddha's teaching of Abhidhamma. Citta is regarded as a primary aspect because of mental factors assist in the cognizing or the knowing objects depending upon citta. That means the citta in cittasika, citta is, of course, for your knowledge, altogether 89 types of cittas. Then cittasika, mental factors, consists of 52. But this is, if you want to learn the Abhidhamma, of course here is Abhidhamma course conducting by Sayadaw Urajena, but you can attend that. But for me, it's just for information. And then how could we differentiate between citta and cittasika? So if you know their action or their characters, then you may see these two things clearly. Difference. The citta is different from cittasikas. Cittasikas are different from cittas. So according to Abhidhamma, how these two things are very difficult to differentiate, because Abhidhamma commentators explain citta and cittasika arise together. So arise together means very difficult to separate. Then cease together, and then they have same base, then same objects. Because whatever the citta to know the objects, just now the cittasika assists to know the specific task. For example, if you see the objects, cittasika functions will help to get clear picture. Because citta is a focus on one object, cittasika focus on the other object. No such things. Whatever citta and cittasika work together, arise together, cease together, have same object and same base. There are two things commentators provide, is like simile, that citta and cittasika is like water and color. Citta is like clear water or colorless water. Cittasika is color. So pure water itself is very difficult to see. Sometimes you can see swimming pool, but there's no the background color is whether this is water in the swimming pool or not. Very difficult to differentiate, unless because of the bottom color is a green or whatever, so we can see the color. But anyhow, sometimes you put the clear water in the bowl, very difficult to see the color itself and the water itself. But if you add or if you pour the certain color or dye, or suppose yellow color or blue color, water turn into the change according to color, so that we can see easily. Pure water itself very difficult to see, but if you add the certain color into the water we can see the color easily, or water easily, muddy color, yellow color, blue color, and so on. But the color exists, it depends on water. The water can seem to become obvious because of kala. For this reason, Cetasika is, we can say, all the time arise depending on Citta. Itself cannot arise. So Cetasika arises. Cetasikas arise depending on Citta, but they determine what is Citta or what is kala. Determine what is the functions of Citta. For example, like according to Abhidhamma, just say Citta itself cannot say there's a wholesome unwholesome until Cetasika associated to wholesome unwholesome. That means before Cetasika, wholesome Cetasika associate to Citta, that Citta itself is very difficult to say there is a wholesome Citta or unwholesome Citta until Cetasika work together, arise together, or associate together. That's why the Cetasika function you need to understand. All the time Cetasika means such as like Vedana feeling, Phassa contact, Sanya perception, Videka thinking, mindfulness, Sati, Saddha, faith, wisdom, Panya. These are all together. How many types of Cetasika? 52 types. Okay, 52 types Cetasika. Whatever the Cetasika arise is dependent on Citta. Without Citta, Cetasika cannot arise. But even though they arise depending on Citta, but they control the Cetasika or determine Cittas. Determine Citta, wholesome. Oh, this is a wholesome Citta, this is unwholesome Citta or consciousness. Cetasika determine. So actually like certain children, they are very much dependent on parents, but they determine or they control their house. So the Cetasika act as like function. They all the time arises depending on Citta, but they determine what is it, wholesome or unwholesome. It depends on Cetasika. Citta itself very difficult to say, cannot determine this wholesome unwholesome. So please remember, that's why the Cetasika is a very interesting function, very interesting. Its functions are really interesting. All the time it's arises depending on Citta, then determine Citta's function. So Citta itself like water, Cetasika itself is like kala. Kala add to the water have to turn according to kala. But of course, we can explain clearly very much based on Buddha's teaching, the Abhidhamma. Otherwise, you remember, Citta and Cetasika arise together, cease together. How to differentiate? Because arise together, cease together, and then they have same base, same objects. So, what is your significance to understand the functions of Cetasika? If you know, if you understand the characters of Citta, consciousness, characters of Cetasika or functions of Cetasika, there's a mental factors. Again, the Buddhist teachings or Buddha's teachings is to remove or overcome certain wrong view or concept. The most important concept is I or soul, because according to commentaries, the soul is fundamental to develop other wrong view. According to commentaries, there are 62 types of wrong views. Please don't ask what is the 52 types of wrong views. I cannot memorize everything. Okay, I know the 52 types of wrong view because of this I or soul, which is truly exists, which is eternal, everlasting. Since you accept this idea, the many wrong view may generate series by series, one by one. That's why now, so long as you learn whatever the knowing function, thinking function, feeling function, you know the how to call remembering function, working together, Citta and Cetasika, there's no such I, there's no such soul who really think, who really act, who really control, who really remember. what is the functions, is what is the aspect or what things is able to remember. That's why whenever we learn the Abhidhamma, we know but perception at its function to remember. But perception is a remember to past, whatever you experience. Mindfulness is to remember present. That's why this actually mindfulness also remember, to remember. The perception also is to remember. Their functions are different from one another. The perception, sanya, to remember the past experience, whatever your childhood, whatever you experience past. The mindfulness function is to remember the present. That's why present. Whenever you practice meditation, your meditation teacher always emphasize be present, remember for what? Remember for present, your phenomena. At that time, remember, who remember? Actually, mindfulness remember, you are not remember. That way we learn the how the Abhidhamma and meditation are really helpful to overcome our wrong view or wrong concept. So this is way to understand ultimate reality, how to differentiate concept and reality. According to Abhidhamma, the third ultimate reality, what is this? Rupa. Okay, rupa, matter. This rupa, actually matter, they are all together, for your knowledge, consists of 28 types of matter. But this is also according to Abhidhamma. If you want to learn the Abhidhamma, you can attend the Abhidhamma course. For me, I will just introduce for information. Then rupa matter is one of ultimate reality. Okay, please remember, whenever we try to say ultimate reality, there's a name for ultimate reality. Not really, truly you experience ultimate reality. But we already say the concept is a fundamental aspect to understand ultimate reality. That's why we have to explain again and again concept. The rupa literally means change. That is, the changing nature is a rupa. Actually, changing nature, the cause of changing are many, such as heat or cold or hunger or thirst. For example, like rupa, how to act its function. Actually, rupa is a characteristic, how to call the ultimate reality. They have own intrinsic nature. For example, when we can say the elements, four elements, earth elements, fire elements, water elements, and then wind elements. For example, the Patavita, certain people attended Abhidhamma class, then they can say this rupa or Patavita, Avota, and so on. They commonly say this is the ultimate reality. I will precisely say they are named for ultimate reality, not ultimate reality yet. But this is specifically we define, okay? Then the ultimate, how to call Patavitadu, the earth elements, they consist of their own nature, intrinsic nature. That is softness, hardness. But again, softness, hardness is a name for ultimate reality, not your experience yet. If you really practice meditation, your five aggregates, or either rising, falling, or sitting, touching, doesn't matter. There's the ultimate reality exists beyond the world. For this reason, whenever we practice meditation, certain yogis already quite familiar or quite skillful in the practice. We try to encourage, okay, if it is possible for you, it is better to drop labeling or naming, because sometimes we just a bit afraid to yogis repeating naming, okay, like softness, hardness, and so on. Maybe this softness, hardness very much depend on yogi's experience. May yogi experience true ultimate reality, or may yogi recite language, hardness or softness. We're not very sure. If you without naming, without how to call using the labeling, there is a kind of softness, a kind of hardness. We cannot explain through the language, but you can experience. lightness, hardness, or heaviness, or heat, or cold, and so on. For this reason, there's a one phrase emphasized by Mahasi Sayadaw. In Vipassana meditation, what you name, what you say doesn't matter. What really matters is to know or to perceive. That means emphasize strongly to understand the ultimate realities beyond their language or naming. So softness, hardness, heat or cold, and lightness, heaviness, that is ultimate reality. But we still using, whenever we give talk, of course, Patavitadu, Abodhatu, the name for ultimate reality. But there is concept, is a fundamental aspect to understand ultimate reality. We already emphasized many times. That's why understanding concept of reality is really helpful for us. So just now is a rupa, literally means change. That is the changing nature. For example, there's many causes of changing nature. First, heat. The ultimate reality has their own intrinsic nature. But according to Abhidhamma, whenever we learn the Abhidhamma, rupa, matter, they say changing nature. For example, like the for example, like if you live in the cold country or cold weather, your body is a skin crack. Or when you live in the tropical country, your body, whenever you go out in the sun, sweating, your face or something is red or whatever, and so on. Because of certain causes change your rupa or matter aggregates. That's why our aggregates, our matter can be changed by cold or heat or dust and hunger. For example, your face are very serene and very peaceful because your body is balanced, no hungry, no dust. But if you getting hungry more and more, how your face change? That's when the hungry man is an angry man. Sometimes if you are too hungry, even though your friends talk, you cannot be patient. Your anger is easily arise. That's why you need to check yourself. Sometimes certain days you get angry easily, means whether you are not enough sleep or whether you are still hungry or not. If you are no hungry, you are enough sleep, you are okay, you are sound, okay? Otherwise, it's very difficult. That's why the Abhidhamma is explained, because there are many causes of changing, like heat, cold, hunger, and thirst. Then you can argue, or you can ask the question: is it because of ultimate reality cannot be changed their own intrinsic nature, because of their own value, own intrinsic nature, nothing can change? But it doesn't mean changing nature means they change their ultimate reality, their functions of reality actually changed by certain condition. For example, like substance, for example, softness, hardness, that is ultimate reality for the earth elements. Okay, earth elements is a softness, hardness, its own function, own character. But suppose when this substance put near the fire or hot, this cold change to hot change to cold, but it doesn't mean their function or their character, softness, hardness never change, only certain heat or cold change. That's why the changing means they don't lose their real character or real significance, but change by certain causes, heat and cold, whatever, and so on. So that's why it's considered to be rupa is ultimate reality. Again, this is the name for ultimate reality. If you really practice yourself, you can experience. There's rupa also very interesting chapter, but we cannot explain today. But only I will say there are to arise the matter. That means to arise this rupa. There are 4 modes of origin. Because suppose this, for example, the so-called this existence, then the beings, existence, or man or woman, boy or girl, doesn't matter. There are conditions or the origins, four origins to arise this matter, to form this matter. The first one is the karma. Karma is one origin. Karma means chetana or pollution. That means, according to Preachers Mobara, to arise future existence in this life, in this very life, your mind is totally occupied or overwhelmed by ignorance, okay, defined by ignorance. Then since ignorance can't see the things of reality, so that the sankhara, the mental formation or activities or actions, chetana, will act certain wholesome deed, unwholesome deed to assess future or to produce future existence. That's when we call karma is evolution or chetana to arise your matter or form. This is one cause, one origin. Citta, consciousness. Without citta consciousness, no one can, can produce future existence. For example, Arahant, they have citta consciousness, but it's a sense that they less consciousness, they won't cling to the future existence. For them, it's we call kriya, citta, function. Even though perform meritorious deeds, their meritorious never produce such wholesome, unwholesome, but they use as a another terminology, kriya, or functional citta, consciousness, because that kinds of citta consciousness never produce that certain act or function which is able to arise future existence. That's why so long as you have karma formation, so long as you have citta consciousness, will generate future existence. Means that since you began as a future existence, your body and mind began or exist again. Then thirdly is a utu, temperature. To arise your this form or body, temperature is very important too. For example, when the chicken or duck lay eggs, because egg it's already certain substance already that produce. Even the mother won't take care properly, temperature is needed, these eggs cannot hatch. So in our body too, to form or whatever the things, we need to get a certain temperature to form the matter. Otherwise, it's this cause or origin where we fail or lack of. The other one is, the last one is ahara, nutriments. So that in a human form, very much dependent on these four conditions or four origins. Then the number one is what? Karma is very important. Number two, citta, consciousness. Number three, utu, temperature. The last one, nutrition, ahara. Without nutrition, no one can survive, no physical phenomenon. Even now your body is mature or well established, maturely formed, but your lack of nutrition, you cannot survive. That's why we human nature very much related to, very much dependent on these four conditions or origin to keep or to sustain our existence. But if you learn the Abhidhamma, is certain things of certain existence are very strange from our human being. For example, Brahma, they don't need to eat any food because their food is like piti, because they practice jhana so that they obtain the power of piti, like joy. That joy is become nutrition or their ahara. They don't need to eat anything thinking. Like for example, those beings who suffer in the hell, for them is karma is totally depend on their existence. Suppose if their unwholesome deeds or evil deeds still continuing, that means their evil karma is still exists. That means they cannot repay their evil actions or evil deeds. If like guardians of hell, they chop their head, they cannot die. If they poke with a spear through the chest to back, they cannot die. Because of weak human, if you chop someone, they chop your head, you can survive or not? Cannot. But for them it's lucky, is it? Even though they chop their head, they cannot die. You see, poor beings, because of their karma hasn't finished yet to repay their evil deeds. they have to survive. So totally depends on karma. There are no nutrition, whether it's a temperature, is it so hot, but according to commentaries, that sometimes the boiling oil they put into, soak into there or fry into there, this boiling oil, they cannot die. Even though they put into the fire, they cannot die because of their karma, their body, their existence very much depend on karma. So that's a different existence, different function. For humans, to prolong or to sustain our existence, what conditions needed? 4 conditions. Okay, karma, cheda, uru, ahara. In English, action. That means a pollution. Okay, pollution means action together with the pollution. Okay, then consciousness, temperature, and the nutrition. That's why we see now you can survive now for the timings of Dhamma talk if air conditioning is on. If there's no electricity, I don't believe so you can survive here. Okay, today is very hot. Sorry, Sayadaw, I have to leave. Because that's why for humans are actually wonderful beings. So now why did the Buddha explain this matter or rupa? Again, the Buddha want to overcome all that the Buddha's teaching is one way or another. Try to understand there's no such soul truly exists. Because of matter, it's certain circumstances they are acting, they are sustaining. Otherwise, you might have wrong view. Soul controlling our existence, soul managing our ego or self. Soul, eternal soul, S-O-L. Okay, soul is a controlling, managing, determining our existence. What the Buddha teachings want to emphasize, there's no such eternal soul, no such things who truly control us. Actually, body and mind are acting or taking their own action due to their own accord. That means own circumstances. Then the ultimate reality is nirvana. Nirvana is the other citta, consciousness, cittasika, mental factors, metta, rupa is a conditions. Conditions we can, because we are living the worldly society or a conceptual world, we can understand citta by theory, through the theory, cittasika through theory, and the metta or form or body through theory. There's a nirvana is unconditioned. So absolute peace we cannot reach, we cannot understand through our own speculation or our own thinking. So there is an exception. We don't need to explain so much, but we can explain nirvana is only short as for information. So what is nirvana? Literally means absolute peace or absolute bliss. It doesn't matter. This is a name for ultimate reality. The another thing is very famous phrase, or for me is easy to understand. Whenever the commentators explain the nature of nirvana, they say Vana Sinkhataya Tanaya Nikhandata Nibbanati Vosati. That is, nirvana is a departure from craving. So before we understand the nature of existing or nirvana or absolute peace, but commentator trying to explain the other way around, departure from craving, because we can feel it craving, we can understand it craving. Craving is what? Craving means craving. Is it? Craving means something we want or we have desire to grab or possess or to hold. That's why we human, everyone has craving. Craving for one's existence, craving for possession for someone or something, and so on. So that's why we crave for car, possessing the car, we crave for existing, we crave for the material or non-material things, and so on. That's a craving for, because you need to understand what is the significance or advantage of craving when it exists within or it exists in ourselves. then what is the disadvantage of craving is when it exists in ourselves. For example, suppose you have craving for like Rolls-Royce car. For example, like you want to possess that very expensive car. That kinds of the functions or mental factors of craving is we call tanha or raga or lobha. Okay, lobha. This lobha is take its function as a craving. Its character is a craving for something. So at the moment, your mind is really, you try to investigate through the Abhidhamma perspective or Abhidhamma tool. For that particular moment, your mind are happy or not. How do you feel when you crave something or crave for someone? At that time, your mind is restless or a lot of worry or a lot of unhappy and so on. So we know that disadvantage of craving. Whenever the excessive craving arises in our mind is uneasy, uncomfortable. If you craving is so excessive, so strong, is that you can't sleep, you can't eat, or maybe only 1 night or 2 nights or maybe 7 nights and so on. Craving is so much powerful. How much the power is. So its commentators, even the Buddha want to explain. That's why the nirvana is nirvana is a departure from craving. Vana means there's a how do you call epistemology? Nirvana. Vana means craving. Ni is departure or abandon or non-craving. Non-craving is nirvana. Craving itself is the opposite of nirvana. So whoever really want to learn or whoever really want to attain nirvana, I mean, before you are attaining this nirvana, you must understand advantage or disadvantage craving. Otherwise, you don't know there is a disadvantage craving, you don't want to attain nirvana. Because for example, like say, those who never ever understand disadvantage existence, actually existence arises very much based on our craving. Is it true? Yeah, very much according to Parichasamuppada, according to Four Noble Truths, whatever existence arises, that means depends on craving. So craving creates a lot of problem for us. But problem is we can see the disadvantage of craving. We can see the disadvantage of existence. So whenever you have chance to visit hospital, you see your friends suffer a lot, but you reflect yourself, you think yourself, wow, poor my friends suffer a lot, but you are already still healthy. So as soon as you come out from the outer building, but you are still attached to your existence. I wish I don't want to suffer such kinds of very, how to call, very serious, very terrible disease, and so we wish ourselves not to get suffering. Whoever we see them studying poor patients, whatever, we wish ourselves not wish that person to recover from that kinds of illness. We wish ourselves not to get it, that kinds of disease. That means craving together with the ignorance, that craving together with the ignorance support to cling your idea, to cling or to attach to more existence. For example, I'm very afraid of ghosts. Then I ask the question, you really afraid of ghosts or you are afraid of losing your existence? What do you think? You are afraid of ghosts? Actually, the idea is you are afraid of losing your existence. Ghosts, they say, ghosts, kill your life or disturb you or make you crazy. That's why we care so much our existence. We afraid of our existence if something wrong. That's why because you remember, concept in reality, even though you practice meditation, certain people, they worry before they attain the enlightenment level. That means path and fruition knowledge. Once yogi asks, they just meditate very diligently. Then one day she got the idea. Then she asked the question to me, Sayadaw, if I attain the anagamihood, the anagamihood is what stage? That stage of path and fruition knowledge. If you get that stage, you are detached to your family members. detached to your worldly life. So how can be, how to call, among the family members? Because he began to worry. He hasn't attained nothing. He hasn't attained anything yet. That's why we are afraid to lose our possession, the existence. That our humans is very difficult. That's why I believe Dhamma is very powerful, but at the same time our craving and the ignorance are very powerful. You remember, to learn the Abhidhamma is to reduce our power of wrong view, especially I. I is very fundamental, very basic, fundamental cause to attach or to produce wrong views. One of wrong view is craving to our existence, because we think that is I, mine, or my existence, or my body. That's why we want to possess that kinds of things, future and future and future and future and so on. Okay, that's why whenever we learn the concept and reality, not for fun, actually for knowledge. Okay, concept is we cannot overcome, but we can first step, you can differentiate this concept. This is ultimate reality, name for ultimate reality. Then later on you can proceed further. This is a name for ultimate reality. Then you practice meditation. This is I really or truly experience ultimate reality. Then when you reach that level, you begin to you begin to decrease in the power of, or how to call, overcoming the power of craving, wrong view, ignorance, whatever, and so on. Then you can see the disadvantage of existence. That means so long as you are living, or so long as you are clinging to this existence, you don't expect you will be totally free from sufferings. The suffering is not created by others, created by or other circumstances. You yourself created. That's why when you learn the Abhidhamma, what for we understand Cheda? Because if you understand Cheda, there's no such I who really act for you. But it's a Cheda itself is taking their function. Then Chetasika and Rupa in the Nibbana, the idea of Nibbana, that means the Buddha's idea, the Buddha's teachings emphasize us, explain us. That means if really tired enough to hold your position of existence, there's a something, there's a Nibbana, truly exists, which is free from all kinds of suffering. That's why we call end of suffering, end of what we call samsaric suffering, and the end of existence, the absolute peace and the bliss. So that's why the Abhidhamma is really useful or really meaningful for us. For this reason, the commentators try to explain the Abhidhamma is right tool or very wonderful tools to investigate whether such kinds of ultimate reality truly exists or not, theoretically. Then later on, you know that there is a possible these ultimate realities truly exist in our aggregates. What is the most powerful techniques? That is for foundation of mindfulness or meditation. So meditation will help you, or meditation will guide you to understand or to investigate what is the ultimate reality means, whether they truly exist or not. Okay, that's why today is a mind talk. It's already 1 hour. So the concept and reality with the Abhidhamma perspective, we cannot explain only one sitting or one course, one lecture. But it's you trying to understand slowly. Then when you have time to learn the Abhidhamma is a really wonderful tools to investigate Abhidhamma, how to call the ultimate reality, or to differentiate concept and reality. The Vipassana meditation is the best techniques, or one of better techniques to realize these ultimate realities. So by understanding these conditions in order to differentiate concept and reality. May you learn the Buddha's teaching and so as to achieve past and future knowledge by means of vipassana meditation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, according to our tradition, so maybe we practice 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes for ultimate reality, not for me, okay? For ultimate reality, okay? We will honor that. Whether truly exists ultimate reality or not, then we will open the question and answer sections, okay? 5 minutes, please honor this your through your honor the Buddha through your practice. According to Abhidhamma perspective, if you really want to apply Abhidhamma as a tool for investigating ultimate reality, that means allow the mind and body functions in order to take their own accords by means of natural process. For example, let your mind or your consciousness to know the objects without adding any conceptual thoughts or idea. That means the mind is knowing the objects, but not you are knowing the objects. Then mindfulness, let the mindfulness function to remember the present. Now I remember, that means my mindfulness is fully aware of phenomena rising and falling. For example, sitting, touching, or breathe in, breathe out. It doesn't matter. That is not you are remembering or not you are being aware, but actually mindfulness plus consciousness work together to perform their function, their act in order to know the objects. Then let your matter or a physical form, let it be. That means hardness, softness, it says already exists. Just your mind, your awareness to know this object, physical objects, which truly exist there or within, then just let your physical phenomena, not mind body is a sitting, just physical phenomena is a sitting. Then your mind, that means not my mind or consciousness, together with the mindfulness is knowing the object. Then that kind of realization will generate more intuitive wisdom or understanding. That is, knowing object is matter, knowing functions is mind. This mind and body or physical phenomena and mental phenomena themselves are acting functions or knowing their function. That means just be aware the objects without speculating, without adding any conceptual thoughts, idea. Then that means you are allowing the physical phenomena, mental phenomena acting their own function. Eventually you can remove or you overcome certain wrong view. That means after all there's I do not exist within or in the five aggregates. As a result, you may attain intuitive wisdom eventually, but infusion knowledge of but infusion wisdom. This is the way to apply how this Abhidhamma theories is really useful for our practice. Okay, 5 minutes is over. Yeah, I would like to hear any question from you. Yes, you may ask any question friendly, comfortably. Do you want to continue to meditate? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just now is you're saying knowing that craving is itself is like how people they overcome this knowing that craving, is it? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, actually like craving and knowing, but see you are still continue to craving whatever and so on. That idea means because of knowing craving is whenever the craving arises, you know that all the time is behind is ignorance included. Okay, so ignorance won't differentiate whether craving is makes you comfortable or not. make you more happy or not, because of the power of ignorance have two things: to know truth as an untruth, the untruth as a truth. So the common people's disadvantage, because sometimes we know that kinds of craving is really uneasy, uncomfortable, but the mind is still wanting to or continue to, because it's possessed. So that means you can see the real disadvantage of craving, but you are still supporting the craving's power. So that's why we want to still continue to hold. There is for this reason, the just now is a nirvana, is even though explain the nirvana, departure from the craving. That's why so long as we can see the disadvantage of craving, so no matter what people they say, oh, then we have a lot of excuses. Of course we are worldly people, of course we are common people, that means a Pudujana, we still crave for it. There's nothing wrong. That's true, nothing wrong. But the Buddha's teaching is, the idea is, if you hold these kinds of things, sometimes the craving can create so many problems, unseen the problems a lot, but we ignore it. That's why even though certain people, suppose you crave for someone, then just go up this very high, the tallest building, and they jump, and they die. They don't know there is a craving, is how much is powerful, or how much causing to damage or destroy, and so on. That's why these kinds of things we are disadvantaged for common people or ordinary, or what we call worldly people. We call Pudujana. Pudujana can see the things as either suitable or not, or there is a beneficial or not. So that actually, like according to this is concept again, according to the Vipassana meditators' terminology, to overcome or to realize or to see the reality. Actually, craving is a kind of process. Craving arises, sustain for a while, then cease immediately. Then another craving comes, because this craving is too much powerful, so that we can see the process. So we think as a unity, the whole thing like water current, just very powerfully or strongly swept away. And then since we can see the process, because even though we know that we already learned the Dhamma, because you have certain idea, it's a craving, it's a kind of unwholesome, whatever, but you have not much, your power is not very strong, or you are not willing to overcome the craving. That's why even though we know the craving, we are still persist, or we still hold the idea to crave again, because whether cause or not doesn't matter. That's why the overcome means there are many ways. Seeing cessation, rise, passing away. That's why from yogi's point of view, overcoming means realizing, rising, passing away. It doesn't mean the power of craving you totally overcome, because of four arahant, because the four thing is overcome permanently that power of craving. Anagami, even the Anagami is they overcome the craving which is related to sensual pleasure war, but they still attach or they still crave for Brahma war. Only Anagami is totally overcome all kinds of craving. That's when for ordinary people, because we still hold that kinds of craving or power, means because we can see the real disadvantage of craving. That's why we are happy to hold. Yeah? So that means overcome means temporarily stop for common people. That means you relax. But since we are ignorance behind, so you stop. Otherwise you may feel I may lose something. I might lose something, because of need to continue to crave. Otherwise you might get lost. Is this something for something? That's why the craving is very powerful. But it's nothing wrong for ordinary people to live in this society with a craving. But according to our Buddhist theology, how to call it, doctrines, they are different level. The Buddha always provide a metaphor, like we are stepping in the seashore. the first level is water is very shallow. Then just go down deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. Is the ocean level is very deep. When we learn the Dhamma, is the first level is quite shallow. Of course, we just see is a craving is no good, but we know that, but we cannot overcome yet. But then go slowly. That's why, even though you cannot overcome craving totally, but you need to be careful. If you cannot control your craving. If you cannot be aware of your craving, either you will get, who knows, will get crazy, or you will harm yourself, or you will harm others. There is an unseen circumstances may produce. That's why the mindfulness meditation help people who really afraid to get real danger, even though they cannot overcome yet. Do you think so? Craving is powerful or not? One craving, powerful craving, can destroy the whole country. Do you think so? Singapore country is an island. Now it is a powerful weapon, very strong. So if you are anger or craving or anger, something is similarly, you can, the very smart bone is very powerful, so that they can sink into the water. That's why they are craving can destroy, can harm other beings. Anger also can harm other beings. So in this craving, together with the ego is a support a lot of craving. So now it is a lot of terrorists. They want to destroy innocent people. Actually, they are for anger or they are for craving. What do you think? For anger? For craving? Or wrong view? What do you think? Okay, today I read the newspaper. One man, cut off one lady's three portion water. This is craving or anger? What do you think? Anger for what? Anger arises from craving. Definitely. Anger together craving associated with the ignorance. That's why he can't see what the future danger will come to him or come to other party. That's why the craving, but we think good, but no good for ourselves, for others. That's why craving, anger, attachment, clinging, ignorance are very powerful things. If so long as we can see the disadvantage, we human will still supporting that idea or concept. That's why the humans, this current society, develop a lot of ego, a lot of self. Ego is very much based on craving, very much based on wrong view. That's why even though we want to live in peace and happiness, but we can't. Innocent people. Then we worry for this society. Good people are lesser in number, evil people are more in number. Who will become victor? Who will become victor? Good people will suffer a lot. That's why the constitutional law protect your own people, own citizens, or good people as well. Now luckily in our society, I mean the whole human society, because the constitutional law or good people are larger number, I believe. That's why at least we can live in peace and happiness. But in our individual society, yourself is your own individual society. Myself is my own individual society. My society, anger is a very powerful, craving is a very powerful. This society can destroy other society. Do you think so? So that's why craving is how much powerful. Either who will blame? You will blame the man or you will blame the lady who become victim. What do you think? To whom we will blame? According to concept, according to conceptual idea, who will blame? Okay, just now what's your name, please? Questioner. Jane. Okay, what do you think? To whom we will blame? just now the case. Blame who killed them. Then is it according to humble, according to ultimate truth, to whom we blame? Because now you learn already, okay, concept and reality. So according to concept, to whom we blame? Okay, you say, is it just to man? Yeah, because he is a person who really created. Okay, according to ultimate reality, to whom we blame? Blame for craving, you see, blame for ignorance. That's when the man itself doesn't want to suffer that kinds of things, because he thought he is wise to do this. No one will not know. No one will know, because of ignorance make blind his wisdom eye. That's why he act whatever craving, whatever anger, whatever ego wish to do so. That's why according to ultimate reality, that means we should blame craving. Yes, any question? Yes.
I have not learned Abhidhamma, but based on what I heard from you, say this thing about chitta and then
Chitta.
So, am I right to say that chitta is just
to know the object, yeah, to recognize the object.
So that means it's simply pure awareness.
Yes.
So when you cognize something, no karma is produced. It's just pure cognizing. So does that mean that Cetasika is what you talk about color? So Cetasika is what this added value to what you observe. So when karma is produced, but the both rise, they arise together.
Yeah.
So that means the Cetasika always must play its role
together with the citta.
So when you're meditating and the mind cognizes an object, and at that point it's just recognizing something, so it's pure awareness, and then the Cetasika is the one that gives it this kind of added value. So at that point of noting, what actually happens?
When we practice meditation, yeah, that's why this, you see, because we humans, we sometimes we play the language society. That's why certain tradition they say meditation is to empty the mind. But I don't accept this definition. But they accept their definition. Okay, up to them. I won't say right or wrong. There's an advantage, disadvantage, because vipassana meditation. Suppose whenever we practice meditation, to empty our mind, but in general sense, that seem to is empty the mind means meaningful, but it's a specific aspect very difficult to accept that idea. Usually we cannot empty our mind. Our mind is working, because empty unwholesome mind, yeah, it's okay, possible, because like when you do the mindfully, that means knowing mind is to know the object, but knowing mind itself is not clear, because itself is a truth, so subtle, so transparent. That's when they say the Buddha, when the mind itself is illuminant, when the aganduka means visitors of defilements, visit to the mind is begun to define. So that's, for example, like when you practice meditation, this citta is, so long as you work, you wake up, you walk, then citta is a step, it's a function. But at that time, that's why the like karma, like the evolutionary action is sometimes powerful, something weak, weaker and stronger. It depends on Cetasika, take their function, how much they involve, how much powerfully act. The citta itself is a very mild, very subtle position. So just now this, according to Buddha's teachings, because citta, Cetasika arise together, cease together, just theoretically we say citta itself is not wholesome, unwholesome, until the Cetasika is come together or cease together. So vipassana meditator, actually they cannot empty their mind. They let their mind allow to fully function with the wholesome mental factors. For example, mindfulness itself is a wholesome mental factor. Saddha is itself a mental factor. Right effort itself is a wholesome mental factor. The samadhi, concentration itself is a wholesome factor. Viriya, right effort, wholesome factor. And mindfulness, wholesome factor. So actually, Vipassana meditator allow oneself to perform more wholesome function rather than unwholesome function. So in this way, Citta and Cittasika work together. So that this kind, sometimes we can say, Vipassana meditation is not supposed to develop wholesome and unwholesome. Actually, intention are not developed to wholesome and unwholesome, but function itself or meditating function itself are wholesome. That means meditating is not intention to develop wholesome and unwholesome, but function itself are wholesome, consider. Do you follow me? Because like this acting is to develop wholesome, but the other action is not intention to develop wholesome and unwholesome. Otherwise someone they excuse argue that because of meditation to develop wholesome, if the purpose of meditation is to develop wholesome, whenever I think wholesome function, thinking, to offering flower to the Buddha, the listening to talk, remembering the Dhamma, that is also producing or developing wholesome consciousness. One will allow me to think. Is a meditation teacher will allow you to think or not wholesome action or wholesome memory. Mostly meditation teacher allow you or not. No, because I don't think. Because even the wholesome function won't, you will not get, you cannot, you will fail to generate is a better wholesome function. That means if you remember you thinking about the wholesome activities, wholesome function, you can get a certain wholesome consciousness. But meditation is able to produce certain wholesome function. That is the intuitive wisdom. If you gain the intuitive wisdom, it's much better than what you are thinking. That's why meditation teacher won't allow you to think. That's why the students practice meditation, we don't have much time to think. But unfortunately, even the some Westerners do not know the real meaning of meditation. For this reason, certain dictionaries appear for definition. Meditation is a deep thinking. Do you agree or not? Meditation is a deep thinking. They think we practice meditation because if they don't know that our technique, wow, these people is thinking, deep thinking. That's very good. Actually, Abhidhamma is learn from ourselves through the practice. Just not learning the books. Abhidhamma is still theory or concept for ultimate reality to help our better understanding, to gain better understanding. Yes? For all, not me, only me. Is it others Ariya, is it? Okay. Mm-hmm.
And for myself, I noticed that I tend to know Abhidhamma more than Abhidhamma. And when you know that your gaze, for example, or your gaze, and you know that you can't control this, you feel very bad about yourself. You know this is not good, this is not good. And you can't get over it. Then when you feel upset, it's another Abhidhamma. So does it mean that noting is creating more Abhidhamma than you?
Actually, okay. Actually, noting is not really creating akusala, but you remember is a concept again, because our concept all the time is against the reality. Actually, like unwholesome and wholesome is actually according to Abhidhamma is named for ultimate reality. Actually, wholesome, unwholesome is a kind of concept as well. So, because you need to understand the unwholesome means, unwholesome is, in this case, unwholesome means define your mind. Okay, that's why we call unwholesome. Because certain way is like attachment to something, that means attachment define your mind. So that, because a concept again, because you don't want to accept, you don't want to see this kinds of unwholesome, do not want to see is your concept, because that's why you want to either against, or you don't want, or you want to overcome immediately. So unfortunately, certain wish won't fulfill, your wish won't fulfill yourself. That's why you generate more anger. So another thing is, of course, the sometimes meditation subject may explain, because unwholesome or remembering of sensual pleasure, there's unwholesome, there is a nivarana hindrances. Actually, for me, is I will simply emphasize explain or define there is an unwholesome. Unwholesome nivarana hindrances. Hindrance means when you are working something, for example, you are meditating, so suddenly sensual pleasure thought arises. So your mind supposed to be aware. Aware is okay. You protect yourself, even though the sensual pleasure thought still processing, still continue to process, but your awareness know it, because of that functions of your awareness fulfill its duty to know it. So it's you are okay, so because your awareness still there, I won't define that kind of position hindrance. Hindrance means even though you are already sensual pleasure thought arises, but you are not willing to overcome, just add more and more thinking, so that this hindrance means hinder for your progress. But if you know it thoroughly, that knowing is develop your wholesome or your progress. That means they don't hinder for your progress. So just be aware without expecting, without wishing. That for this reason, whenever we instruct the yogis, I'm trying to encourage yogis not to do 5 things. They are not to expect, not to judge, not to analyze, not to worry, and not to compare. Mostly, concept is acting so much function as then, because another concept, because we are very wise to play the concept. That's why they are another concept is a right chance to arise. Then the concept in concept is a challenging. Actually, Dhamma never challenged the Dhamma. So there is, for example, like craving, because you don't want. That's why you don't want means your concept, because it says they are let in their function. For example, if you know the Dhamma, if you know the reality, for example, like police will catch those people are doing their evil, or maybe police will give you the ticket. The doctor will treat patients, teacher will teach. This is their function. So if you know their function, we don't need to be either reject or accept, because just now it's like the craving arises because you reject. That's when the anger arises. Because of rejecting arise anger. Your meditation not create anything, because you are not skillful for that particular moment, or you are not very mindful. Mindful is not enough, so that the other functions are taking itself in random. So that's why you are okay. Suppose you see the craving, then you get, because of reject, not to accept. That's why rejecting creates anger. The anger creates your body is restless. The restless create yourself to stop meditation, or how do you call ill thoughts to the meditation. There are many functions along again and again. For this reason, mindfulness, whenever we practice meditation, the mindfulness, we let our mindfulness function as a main. Okay, you are the one. Okay, mindfulness, effort, and concentration. This we call the mindfulness meditation. You are the one who we fully charge you. You act your function well. For example, like that's why the mindfulness like gatekeeper or doorkeeper. have to know whether good people is enter, good people is out. Otherwise, bad people won't allow. But mindfulness has not such. Just watch whether it's a good or unwholesome or wholesome. So the function is to be aware, so that the won't allow the certain function, certain unwholesome function to take longer. That means not like gatekeeper is okay, fully stop. The mindfulness cannot stop, but be aware, so that they let them more wholesome acts chance to perform their function. So whenever you practice meditation, for example, like there is our mind is challenging with the concept. The reality is a concept, and reality are all the time is a challenging, because we already design is ourselves, with the concept. So we play our concept. That's why the concept is generates more and more conceptual thoughts. Meditation is very simple. For example, like say, whenever we learn the meditation subject, there's a physical phenomena already there. There's a mental phenomena, just knowing mind already there. This knowing mind supposed to know the objects. That's it. Then if you that knowing mind trying to be aware without adding conceptual thoughts, the knowing mind will know that reality. That means arising, passing away, impermanence, nature, unsatisfactoriness, no soul. That means people they believe as a like eternal, everlasting. This everything is overcome, but itself is physical phenomena, mental phenomena. Working itself is very simply. Actually, we ourselves make it more difficult or more complicated, because we want to add idea, conceptual thoughts. For example, meditation teacher will advise you, okay, relax, your knowing mind or your noting mind to know the objects. Then you begin to question, is it, that's it? Then how that noting mind can overcome our anger or overcome the, craving? Because you play your conceptual thoughts more and more. That means you won't fully allow to your real function, reality. That means physical phenomena, mental phenomena, do their own exercise, own function. That we block our conceptual idea. That's why we human make it more and more difficult. The more confused, is it? Yes.
So how can we prevent this concept?
Prevent. Yeah, actually, don't try to prevent the concept, but try to recognize this is a concept or this is a reality. Okay, for example, like, because preventing is because you are still living in the society. Because of whatever you are trained, your mind is already fully trained. That once is a universal visitor, visited to one of Chinese, how they call Zen master. They say because the Zen master is the pour the tea into the cup. There is water is still overflow, but keep on pouring. Then the university professor reminded, reverence is now also cup is already overflowing. Why you continue to pour? Like your mind is like this, because your mind is full of concept. Even though I'm trying to, add other things, like your cup is like tea is overflow. So actually, our position are already well trained with the concept since you are young. So you cannot immediately overcome, you cannot immediately forbid the things. Only things are possible you apply the technique effectively. For example, so not to be wise when you practice meditation, okay, not to be too wise during the practice meditation. Let it be, go whatever. Like, for example, like have you ever heard or not, four kinds of right effort or noble effort? That means we make it effort for meditation. One is like, try not to arise whatever unwholesome you already experienced before. There's a kind of effort. The other one, try not to generate more effort that you have never ever done before. There's for two effort for unwholesome side. The other one is try make effort to sustain, or it means to how to call develop is your wholesome, the wholesome act or wholesome consciousness. The other one is try to allow the arise whatever the wholesome you have never ever done before. So that means whatever the four kinds of effort mentioned, actually the straightforward is one word is be present. Okay, now again, be present. Okay, even though four kinds of effort, not to arise whatever the unwholesome you have already done before, but not to how to call, that means forget it whatever the whole unwholesome already done. That means be present. The other one, try not to arise, how to call, not to develop whatever you, try not to arise whatever you have already haven't done before. That means prevent the future. That means be present. Okay, be present. Whatever the wholesome haven't done, just let them arise means be present as well. Then whatever the wholesome you have already reached, but try to develop, that means also be present. So the concept how to prevent is you don't need to make effort, but just be present. Be present is also you need to understand the conceptual idea and the other wholesome idea and the unwholesome idea. Be present means, okay, like you now you are sitting in the present position, is then just sit comfortably, be aware of your physical phenomena or mental phenomena. That's a be present. That you need to understand simply be present means not to add any conceptual idea. For example, your mind simply to know the object. Which object? Either rising falling object, or breathe in breathe out object, or sitting touching object. Then you need to be present. More precisely, be present means you are not knowing object. Who is a knowing? Who is a knowing now? Your Jeta, consciousness, is knowing its objects. Now I'm in sitting. Who is sitting? You are sitting. That means you already add I concept, because mind concept. Actually, no, you are sitting. Your physical phenomena is sitting. Physical phenomena sitting, mental phenomena is a knowing. That means be present. So long as you follow these simple methods, itself is already prevent. Itself is already overcome. The idea is why we cannot overcome that things, because we are very wise. You are very wise to play the concept. That's why I'm in knowing, I'm in sitting. That I itself is already concept. So we Pudujana or you Pudujana is like, even though it's a Sotapan also sometimes they don't have so much the concept, but they are still living in daily life. They also they cannot overcome fully. For example, even though Visakha is she attained Sotapan who at the age of 7, but she emphasized, this is my husband, this is my son, this is my daughter. My son, my daughter is concept or not? But Visakha can say that this is phenomena which is related to my phenomena. Then many people might think Visakha is something wrong. So that's why the conceptual world is that you are living the conceptual world. You cannot totally cut off the things. Otherwise, either you have to stay in the mental hospital, or you have to stay away from the society. Then you can do it. That's why we try to understand concept and reality, different position. Don't force to overcome it. Okay, which one do you prefer? You want to stay in the mental hospital, or you want to avoid all the community? Which one is easier? Two things cannot be, is it impossible? Because you are still living in the society. So sometimes we Buddhists not to extremely interpret, because concept is a concept. We cannot against easily. Okay, this is not truly exist. That's why even 2 days ago we already mentioned. Okay, the main is exist. This is a musawara or not? No, not musawara, because they are emphasizing using the conventional language or conventional reality. Even though the main truly exists, that kinds of phrase are not presumed. There is a musawara. They are saying truth. Okay. So, what do you think? You want to stay in the mental hospital? Yeah, anyhow, because we are living still in a society, please only understand differences between concept and reality. Use it wisely, whatever you are surrounding are. That's why certain people, they are facing difficulty. They practice meditation, intense meditation, 2 months, 3 months. Their mind is totally absorbed in the physical phenomena, mental phenomena, because they feel so much peaceful, so much wonderful. Then go back to the office work. They are not happy at all. But then they create themselves as unhappy, a kind of depression, whatever. No, Dhamma is not that way. Dhamma must be wise. You must be balanced. How to balance? You must know yourself. Otherwise, those practitioners go to the retreat, come back is a problem. Is the Dhamma is something is really create a problem. So that they say, please remember yourself. Because you are still living in the society, you are still in the layman, you are still carrying on your own duty. Cannot we say this is a nonsense? Because not nonsense, you are working for money. Cannot we say that is a useless, is it? Because you are still functioning in the worldly society. Oh, because if one day I have an opportunity to renounce, I will do so. But for the time being, wait for a while, do whatever you should work. Then that way mind is relaxed. That means you differentiate between concept and reality, how to apply effectively in the certain circumstances or certain location. Okay, please. My message is supposed not to make you confused. It's really clear, but don't play too much concept. Otherwise, I just describe only 2 words. Concept and reality. Your head is bigger now. Bigger. Then when you go back home, wow, they think concept. Then your head is maybe explode. Yes.
It's called craving also. How about craving to do good deeds, craving for Nirvana? Is it also a form?
Yeah, that's why the concept is very useful to explain, because of the book. Just now we already mentioned the Citta, Cittasika are termed for ultimate reality. That's when the Buddha used very wisely. Whenever we say the craving is referred to the lobha. Just now, craving for wholesome, we call this a chanda, desire. Wholesome desire, unwholesome desire, the Buddha used. Wholesome desire means certain things or certain acts won't generate any, unwholesome function, any this create unhappiness, depression, whatever. For example, you are craving for nibbana. For example, the word is not suitable word using, because you are using wrong concept in the wrong concept for right word. So we call wholesome desire for nibbana, unwholesome desire for house or car or person. That's when they call chanda. Desire is the most suitable word for it. Wholesome desire, unwholesome desire. Desire we call chanda, mental factor associated to wholesome, unwholesome. Craving, lobha. Okay, suppose this craving is the right word for lobha, means all the time is unwholesome. Just now is a wholesome for meritorious deeds. We call wholesome desire instead of using craving. Yes, some more question? Yeah, if you want to ask other relevant is okay, because sometimes today is a concept in reality. Tomorrow topic what? Tomorrow morning. Okay, Abhidhamma application in daily life. Okay, tomorrow is a come back again concept in reality, but we will just approach how this is can apply for our daily life. Yes, any question, please? Okay, the last question. Whoever they want to ask the question, the last question. I heard many times the Singaporean ask a lot of questions. So for me, I'm very lucky, is it? Yes, please, the last question. Okay, the last question. Okay, today is a two question as okay. I will ask you again. Do you want to ask one more question? Okay, say again. I cannot grab your meaning. Is it clearly how? Yeah, that the longer retreat is important than mindful. Longer. Yeah, that's when they call. This is a concept. Is impose your question. You know because of advantage, disadvantage. Just now you see how important the person longer and retreat. Longer and retreat are without mindfulness or with the mindfulness. Suppose longer retreat are with the fully mindfulness. The second, the latter one also mindfulness. Compare is like longer retreat with the mindfulness are more significant than people who are mindful. Okay, in daily life. Suppose the people they are saying retreats is now it is many meaning. You know, many retreat means I want to know what do you mean the retreat? Okay, there's a retreat. Okay. Second person, mindful in daily life, is it? Okay, please remember, I always interpret as two things. Mindfulness are two types. One is like intensive mindfulness. There's a daily mindfulness. For example, you are living in daily life. For example, you drive the car, you work for, you have to go to work. Your mindfulness is like just general mindfulness, not daily mindfulness, not intensive mindfulness. Well, that's why we call intensive mindfulness in general mindfulness or daily mindfulness. Daily mindfulness, for example, if you behave like you are mindfulness, like you are presuming you are like intensive meditation. Intensive meditation is very careful, when you drive the car, you are very mindful, then you will hit the other car. So no way in daily life. Sorry. According to the specific definition is that there's no way those people are living in daily life, working in daily routine, their mindfulness is stronger as like those people who are living in the intensive retreat. Because the intensive retreat is nothing to carry any duty. You can do mindfully, walk up and down, because you are free from any kinds of duties. That's why your mindfulness is supposed to be stronger. Then there's an exceptional case. For example, of course, during the walking meditation, the time to go the walk, drive, I won't be mindful. But in my in daily life, at home, when I'm free, I do mindfully. There is this kinds of significance or that power of mindfulness. It depends. For example, during the time of the Buddha, one lady, she was taking care of the monks. The monks are practicing intensive meditation, but they gain nothing. But the lady is just preparing the food, cooking the food. Her name is Madika. She attained anagamihood. So if this is we call this is because this is a kind of how to call challenging, the kinds of argumentative idea, just taking this study unusual aspect. You are saying that's why we can say, because according to philosophical aspect, you can say, oh, of course, the person who is practice in intensive meditation, his or her mindfulness will be more significant than those who are living in daily life. Then you can say, how come is it, according to this story, the lady is sitting, is working in the daily routine, then supporting the monks. She attained anagamihood first. The monks is later. This is an exceptional case. Mostly are those who are intensive meditation, the mindfulness supposed to be stronger. But it doesn't mean those who are practicing meditation are stronger. It means it depends. Suppose those who just go and sleep, the meditation center go and stay, they don't practice meditation just 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, like certain kapiya or certain workers, their mindfulness, even though they are living in the retreat center, but they don't really fully mindful. That's why their mindfulness is a degree. It doesn't mean their significance. If in general sense, those who are really practice in the intensive meditation, their mindfulness are more significant because of their noting power is closer and closer. Because of from time to wake up until time to sleep. In daily life, your mindfulness are on and off rake. Do you think so? During the driving the car, your mindfulness will be general. Cannot be mindful, and that's intensive mindful. Then when you are walking, your things, but you can say, oh, I will still be aware, but awareness are different how to call object. Because suppose you are accounting, you have to know the account number, whatever, so that your awareness is not fully absorbed in the phenomena. That's one lesser degree. Do you think so? I'm asking whether it's who is mindfulness will be stronger. Yeah, in the retreat there is an idea, because those who are going to retreat are more freedom, more opportunity to practice, because of daily life we have duty. You have to perform that duty. This one they are lesser position, lesser the chance are lesser to keep or to sustain your mindfulness. That's true. But of course nowadays meditation retreats are also different. Some different regulations, something. That for example, like this is a meditation center, because they want to provide, because the accommodation are not is like fully well established. That's when sometimes they meditate, meditating here, sometimes the visitors come in, we don't want to talk, but sometimes have to talk, so that a bit annoying, but we understand because of facility are not fully well established. So the retreat center, even the different kinds of retreat center, they specially designed. So the mindfulness is really wonderful for them, but sometimes the opportunity, whether you will have or not, it depends. That's why I know you are living in the worldly society that mostly are very prosperous society. Those people have less chance. Otherwise, there's a challenge. You go to retreat 6 months, you work, then your positions seem to your properties lesser than others, then you are afraid. Now if I go to meditate 6 months, a year, then my property going to beyond, going to come, is it? Then maybe better not to practice meditation 6 months. How about 3 months? Then other people, they work very hard. 3 months time are, how to call, no one can predict. Even within 3 months, maybe they already bought another house. Wow, you are learning that. Maybe because I practice meditation 3 months, 1 month enough. That's why we are challenging. One side is for progress for life. The other is a progress for spiritual gain. So which one is it you will be prefer? It depends on individual. But sometimes please don't force to do. Certain people, they are so much expectation in the Dhamma, so that expectation sometimes create certain mental difficulty. That's why nowadays you may hurt or not, those people that are going to practice, sometimes their mind is something strong and something wrong. Something seem to mind is unusual. A few cases already there. Actually, meditation won't produce that kinds of bad consequences. Actually, your concept, your expectations are so high. So that's why you are just now, she said, going, even though I practice meditation, anger is a more, something is a more, because of your expectations are strong. That's why that kinds of expectation create you for something. Please remember, whenever you practice meditation, there are many circumstances, many certain requisites. If you are 3 roots person, born with the 3 roots, then you are really energetic, strong enough, you follow the proper path, then you balance your mind, then that kind of person is supposed to make more and more development, spiritual development. That means supposed to gain intuitive wisdom. So long as your mind is well balanced, that means even though you won't sleep 24 hours you practice, it doesn't mean you are able to gain the intuitive wisdom, because your mind is well balanced. Meditation foundation is you need to settle down your mind, peace and harmony and balance. Then that kinds of position may have opportunity to generate intuitive power, intuitive wisdom. That's why certain people are yogis, they have so much faith in the Dhamma, but they are lack of wisdom, how to balance their mind. They ignore themselves. That's why sometimes, even though they are practicing meditation, of course not good news for Buddhists. Otherwise, this girl going to practice meditation, come back, mind is something wrong. Seem to crazy, because there is a bad name, bad reputation for the Dhamma. Actually, Buddha's teaching is a trust, fully trust the Dhamma is really generate, but sometimes our mind generates certain idea or certain concept. So that's why nowadays even meditation teacher need to learn the psychological aspect. Cannot be like meditate, because certain people are a lot of pressure. That's when they want to relax during the practice. They add more pressure sometimes. Okay, is it good enough for today? Okay, sadhu, sadhu.